Hey everybody, welcome to episode 130 of the Fiberist Files. Today is Saturday, August 3rd, 2013. It is a day late, I'm sorry. I'm Heather, I'm your host. I'm also known as Boutros Babe on Plurk and Ravelry. That's Boutrosbabe. And Fiberista Files on Twitter and Instagram. Instagram is the place to be these days, I'm telling you what. I do have some show notes this week. They're not terribly wordy, but they should get us through. So let's get started, shall we? I usually start with the week in review. This past week has been a pretty normal week here at Highland Handmades headquarters, HHHQ. That sounds weird. Let's see, I last recorded on Friday. So Saturday, my husband and I went to Bangor. We had a bunch of errands to run. We stopped in at the Yarn Barn, which I'll talk about a little bit later. It's a yarn shop in Bangor. Sunday, we went down south to my parents' house. They live about 2 hours south of here, and we went and visited my grandmother, who's at a rehab facility after breaking her hip and her shoulder. She was in really good spirits. She's very sharp and clear. She's 98 years old. She's full of spit and vinegar. That's not generally what we call it, but you know what I mean. She's doing great, and it was really nice to see her and hang out there. We only stayed for like 45 minutes. I don't want to tire her out or stress her out, and she had physical therapy that she was supposed to be going to as well. So we got a nice visit in with her. She's always wonderful. She was not terribly impressed with my tattoo, which she wouldn't have known about had my father not actually told her, P.S. Heather got a new tattoo. I'm like, so as soon as she knew, she had to see it. So I showed it to her, and she's like, I'm not going to say anything about it. And I'm like, okay, Graham. She's 98. She's not going to be like, ooh, look at that, new ink. No. I was home Monday through Wednesday. I haven't had anything really to dye, but I worked on some bats and I worked on some paperwork and things like that, things that needed to be done. And then Thursday, I drove south to the coast and went to the Rockland Lobster Festival, which is a big festival on the coast. They have a huge, they've got all the carnival rides and stuff like that. They usually have bands. Uncle Cracker played last year. The Dixie Chicks have played before. This was way back in their career, but they have played before. And on Thursday at 1:30, Over the Rainbow Yarn sponsored a race to crown Maine's fastest knitter, and I participated in that race. Mim, the owner, had asked me if I wanted to come down and participate, and she said that she would, give me an shout out to the crowd about my yarns and stuff, which she did. She brought me right up to the front and said, this is Heather, and she's one of our indie dyers, and so on and so forth. That was really nice. I am not Maine's fastest knitter. Big surprise. But I had a really good time, and everybody who participated won a skein of yarn. So this is a skein of heathered pumpkin orange Barocco vintage. This was what we had to compete on. We had to compete on with I think they're 16-inch size 8 bamboo needles. It was too unwieldy for me. I had a really hard time. So I'm hoping then we'll do that again next year, but we'll use circular needles because I'm way faster on circular needles. After I left the knitters race, I went to Over the Rainbow and swapped out a bunch of my stuff, which I'll talk more about in one of the other sections. And then I left Over the Rainbow and I went to Katie's house and visited with Katie. She's had kind of a busy week. I think she'll talk about at least some of it on the podcast next week, so I'm not going to out her. But she's had some very interesting changes going on lately. Good, great, I think. But I'll let her talk about it. But it was really nice to see Katie. Both of us had not had an opportunity to really catch up with each other in a while, so it was nice to just hang out and chat. And no, we didn't record. I'm sorry, but we had some good friend bestie time, and that was really important, at least to me. I went with her to knit night, back to Over the Rainbow. In the evening, we went at about 6:30 and hung out. They have a fantastic knit group down there. I don't have a knit group up here. There is one that meets, but it's not a good fit for me, so I don't have a knit group. But her knit group down there was awesome. It was a lot of fun. We just laughed the whole time. Ask Katie about the can of biscuits. Just ask her. Hey, Katie, I said can of biscuits. Just ask her. And then I drove home. I got home at about 11:30 at night on Thursday night. I'd gotten up at, I don't know, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. It was a long day Thursday. I'm just tired just thinking about it. Excuse me. I did make it home, and I texted Katie when I got home so that she could see it when she get up. And then Friday, yesterday, I was just getting ready for the shop update. I didn't record yesterday like I usually do, only because I was trying to get the update ready, and part of the update is photographing stuff for the shop. And it was pouring down rain on Friday, and the photographs when it's raining are really bad. And I really didn't want to use artificial light because it's not quite as, the pictures don't look quite as good, but the rain was supposed to lighten up, so I was trying to shoot in between showers basically, and that was kind of time consuming. And I did a bunch of bats too, so I was in my studio most of the day, so didn't get to a chance to record, but that's why I'm doing it now. My husband is outside right now working on the garage so that he can make some more spindles. So you may hear noises, things being dragged, stuff like that. And my dog is outside, so people who are listening with earbuds, be warned that he may bark. He barks anytime anyone walks up and down the street. So just be forewarned that at any point you may hear dog barking. Okay, knitting. Let's talk about knitting, shall we? There has been some news on the knitting front. On Tuesday, I think, had a blocking party. I blocked a bunch of stuff on Tuesday. I blocked both of my cable up socks. I had blocked one when I finished it and did the photos for the pattern. And then I'd finished the second sock, but I'd never blocked it. So I blocked them both, and I used the smaller sock blockers I got in my SSK goodie bag because they're not for me, they're for a friend. So I blocked those, and I blocked my husband's Kindle Cozy, which I've not shown you because I knit the entire thing while I was on the road going to SSK. But there are pictures in my Ravelry Projects page. If you go there and look, you'll see it. And I blocked my TGV, which I had knit, and I showed you when I knit it, but I hadn't blocked it. I didn't bring it to show you because it looks exactly the same blocked as it does unblocked, just a little bit bigger. But that's also photographed and put up on my projects page. And then I also blocked the Sunday Market shawl, which I don't remember if I showed you that I had finished it or not last time. But this is the Sunday Market shawl. It is a really long rectangle. It is about 64 inches by 16 inches. The ends are a little bit less. You can see that the cast on and cast off edge do suck in a little bit. I don't know if you can see that or not. They are tighter than the rest of it. It's because of all those drop stitches that this fabric widens out quite a bit, and it doesn't for the cast on the bind off. It doesn't matter how loose you're going to make it. It's always going to go in a little bit. I haven't woven in my ends yet, but I will do that soon. This is the Done Spun Farm Alpaca Merino blend that was really felty that I told you I'd spun up. It was 242 yards, and I used all but just a little bit. And you can see there are sections that are quite green, and there are sections that are quite black and white, and it kind of goes back and forth. I'm really pleased with this shawl. It is exactly going to do what I want it to, which is just wrap around my upper arms for when it is cold out. And it's at 64 inches. It's quite long enough that I can, I can totally cover me. Now, you're not going to be able to see this because the camera's up too high, but this will totally wrap around me just like I want it to. It is open, but where it's alpaca, it's quite warm despite the openness of the fabric. I mean, it's not going to keep me warm if it's windy out, but just as something to cover the backs of my arms, which goosebump and get cold really easily, is going to be perfect for that. It was fabulous car knitting. I knit this on a size 10.5 needle, so despite the fact that it's knit a row, purl a row, knit a row, purl a row, knit a row, purl a row, it actually does go quite fast, and dropping the stitches down was fun, except that alpaca is hairy. I don't know if you can tell that it's got fuzzies. Can you tell that it's got fuzzies? It's a little fuzzy. The fibers tend to wrap around each other, so when you're trying to drop the stitches, it doesn't drop straight down. It actually catches, and then you have to break apart those fibers and then drop it another few stitches, and it was kind of hard on my hands actually, but I did get it done. It took me a couple hours, but I did do it. I would recommend, if you're going to do the Sunday Market shawl, to either do it in a true worsted weight yarn, worsted spun yarn, or to do it in like a cotton blend or something like that. Something that is not going to grab a hold of the individual fibers and it's just going to go right through. Because dropping those stitches would have been a lot more fun had I not had to fight every single stitch. But then I wasn't just blocking stuff this week. I was also knitting stuff this week. Let me just put this away so that you guys don't have to stare at me fidgeting with it the whole time. I showed you last week the smog socks that I'm working on, and I started these on the way to SSK. And I am knitting these socks out of my Volmiza 100% in the Vamp colorway, which was a gift from my friend Yarn Beans. And if I can get this off of the needle, hang on. Always with the yarn wrapping around the needle. This is knit on a US 2. These are the carbons that I showed you last week. They are quite dull, but that's okay because I'm not knitting with cables. I'm not knitting cables. So here is the back of the, or needle 2. You can see it looks like scales. And then here's the front. And this is supposed to be a reverse stockinette panel, but I don't like reverse stockinette, so I did purl just the 2 stitches before this twisted stitch, and purled those 2 twisted stitches. Purled 2 stitches before the twisted stitch on the other side, but then went to straight knit for the inside. I believe the sock is actually, like, the front is this way, but I don't, and so like this line here is going to curve over the top of the foot. We'll wait and see, but I think that's what's happening. You can tell I'm working on the heel flap right now. The scale pattern does go down all the way around to the bottom of the heel. So that's what I'm working on right now. I've got about an inch probably. I've got to get 2.5 to 3 inches. I'll probably stop at 2.5 inches just because I don't have a very tall instep or high instep. So I don't need as deep a heel pocket as some people do. I don't know what else to tell you about these socks. The design, I think it's by Claire Ellen. Is that her name? Yes, Claire Ellen. And the smog socks are a Lord of the Rings inspired sock, or the Hobbit inspired sock, I should say, because smog is in the Hobbit. And of course, I'm using red yarn for the red dragon. But I'm enjoying that sock. And I'm already on the heel flap. That was a pretty quick knit. Every other round is straight knit, so it's fairly easy to work on. And that's in my Tangerine Designs Stormtrooper bag that I got at SSK. The other thing I have been working on this week, you're going to be shocked. Shocked, I say. This is my, hang on, I got to grab all the needles so they don't clink. There's 4 needles there. This is my Even Star. I have been working on my Even Star since the pattern was released as a mystery knit-along in, I think it was February of 2010. I don't know why I'm blurry. I don't know if you can see the Even Stars. That's the Even Star right there. Okay, I'm working on the edging, and I am doing a beaded edging per the pattern. You can see the beaded edging here. It's very beautiful. Each point has something like 100 beads. It's ridiculous. I don't know exactly how many. There's 20 rows. 50. I think each row has 50. Each point has 50 beads. Each bead is placed individually with a crochet hook. Now, when I'm watching television and I'm distracted by what's going on the TV, a point will take me about 2 hours to knit. It's 20 rows of 20 stitches or something like that. And the stitches there's a different number of stitches. It increases and decreases. I timed myself without any distractions yesterday morning. The TV was off, the cats were behaving, I wasn't doing anything except straight knitting, and it still took me 50 minutes, 50 minutes, to do a single point. I'm at like 0.9 of 56. Let me count how many points I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points of 56. Now that means I have what, 47 points left to do. If 47 points and each point took me an hour, that's, whoa, 2 solid days of knitting without a break. It's going to take me another several months to finish this. But what the heck, I've already been knitting it for 3.5 years. It's another couple of weeks. I am just trying, it's out of hibernation, I'm just trying to pick away at it, do a point when I have a few minutes. It'll get done when it gets done. It's going to be beautiful. I love the design. It's just so fiddly. Ugh, anyway. Okay, spinning. There's been spinning as well. This is finished and off the wheel, soaked, thwacked, full, the whole 9 yards. This is Lioness by, it's fiber from Tempted. It is 50% merino, 50% silk. And this is a lace weight single. You can see there's a little bit of thick and thin in it, but it's mostly quite thin. Now I did full this, and for those of you who don't know what fulling is when you basically felt a yarn not to create a solid fabric like you would felt slippers, but you're felting a strand of yarn against itself. So what it does is the fibers that are spun together hold together with twist. When you full it, those fibers also lock over each other like Velcro, so that if you have a spot, say, that has a little bit less twist in it, it's less likely to pull apart. It makes a stronger yarn, which is especially fabulous for singles. When you full, all you do is you have, normally when you are finished with a skein of yarn, you wind it into a skein and you soak it in hot water, and then you pull it out of that hot water and let it dry without any agitation at all. When you full, you have a hot soapy water bowl and a cold water bowl. You put it in the hot soapy water bowl and you shush it and you agitate it and you scrub and wrinkle it and, you know, manipulate it with your hands. And then you put it in the cold and shock it with the cold. And then you put it back in the hot soapy water and you do it again and you put it back in the cold. There are different degrees of fulling. I did not full it very much. I didn't want to lose all of the sheen from the silk. So I felted it just enough so that it was a little bit stronger, and it has a little bit, you can see just a tiny small amount of halo on it, just a little bit of fuzz, but it still does have quite a bit of sheen to it as well from the silk. This is actually going to be for sale in my shop. I am not hanging on to this. It is beautiful and I would love to, but I don't have any immediate plans for it, and if this is the perfect yarn for somebody, I'd much rather it went to a home. This is 120 grams, 756 yards, of a lace weight single. This is not in the shop yet, but it's going to be in the shop as soon as I am done recording. So if you want this, it can be yours. It's beautiful. I think it would make a beautiful, like a smoke ring, which is like a really tall cowl that you can pull up over your head, or anything really. That's my little hand spun tag I got from Kobe. So yeah, so that's finished. And then the next thing I put on my wheels were 2 of the 3 samples from the club for this month, from the Luxury Fiber Adventures Club. I did the 100% yak and the 50-50 yak merino blend. I did the yak merino blend first, and I actually did what JC Boggs suggested. I sampled a couple of ways to spin it. This first thing I did was long draw. You can see it's very thick. It's like a bulky weight. It's very lofty and wonderful. But not consistent. Like you can see there's thinner bits like here and thicker bits. And then I did from the fold as well. And from the fold was a lot more consistent as far as wrap sprinch would be concerned. But then if I were to spin the like 4 ounces of the 50-50 yak, I would do from the fold before I would do long draw, just because I felt like I had more control from the fold. But then I ended up doing my fallback, which is short forward draw, and I haven't pulled this off the bobbin yet, obviously, but you can see it's much more consistent than the stuff that I've plied. This will be plied into a 2-ply off itself. It will be pulled into a center pull ball, or wound rather into a center pull ball, and then plied from there. It's still quite thick, but that's okay. That's how I wanted it. I didn't use my smallest ratio. I wanted the more fiber and loft and thick it is, the warmer it'll be. So then I did the 100% yak, and I didn't do the other methods because I knew that I wasn't going to have any control with the from the fold or long draw. So I just did it straight short forward draw, which is my normal. Even that, I had a lot of difficulty getting it consistent, and I haven't plied this yet either, but I will. Yak fiber is a very short stapled fiber, and I was trying to keep my hands close enough together that I could control it. That's not to say that's the best way to do it. That's just the way I did it. So I'm going to post pictures and information in the thread about what I did, and I hope the other club members will too. So if you do think about buying yak, you can maybe have some tips on how to best do it. I still have the camel silk blend to do, but I only have just a little bit of that to sample, so that shouldn't take me long at all. And then I'm going to find something new to spin. It's time for something new because I finished the Tempted, which took me quite a while. I feel like I'm talking really fast again. I don't know why I do that. Okay, dye pots. I didn't dye anything this week because I haven't had any fiber. That came Friday via the UPS person. Now, I don't know if our regular UPS person is on vacation or if she's done, because before we left for SSK, Paul picked up a package because they'd come into our driveway, so he went out and met them, and it was the super hot UPS guy, who I only see once or twice a year when the regular lady goes on vacation. But when I got my fiber yesterday, lo and behold, it was the hot UPS guy again. So I don't know. I'm getting a package next week, and which I'll talk about in a minute, and we'll see if it's him again. Just saying. Okay, let's see. I did do some bats this week. I did a couple that I think are a lot of fun, including one called Red Sock and the White Load, which is an all-white bat. It's got cashmere, silk, wool, a superwash wool and a non-superwash wool nylon. It's really bright white. And then I also included a mini bat of bright red merino. So if you are brave and you spin the red in through just randomly throughout the white, you'll have what happens when you put a red sock in the white load, which I think would be super clever. I don't know how to spin it that way, but I thought that was fun. And I also put up, I think, almost a dozen or so spindles as well. So if you've been waiting for a spindle, looking for a spindle, you might want to check out the shop. As those sell down, I will be putting more in the shop. I probably have 2 or 3 dozen, maybe 30 spindles total right now. So they will be coming with more frequency. Yes, so spindles. All right, processes. Oh, and I should say I will start dyeing again on Monday per my regularly scheduled dye session. Processes. One of the things that I had to do with this most recent club shipment was individually address each package. What happens when you do a subscription is that PayPal does not give you the print shipping label button on the site. When you order something from a big cartel shop, it has your name, it has payment details, and then it has print shipping label, and then it has the amount that you spent. So all I have to do is click print shipping label, and it'll, I can print the little label with the barcode and all that. With the subscriptions, and I will not do it this way again if I do a club again, it does not work that way, which sucks. I called PayPal and asked them what I could do. Like, is there a setting that I can change that will give me the button? Because I don't want to hand address 40 packages. And the guy was like, actually, no, we can't do that for you. But because PayPal has so many issues with the way their shipping works, they've developed a workaround. That's what he said to me. He said, there are enough people with issues that we had to develop a workaround. If you want to print one of those labels like what you get from me that has a person's address and it has that big delivery confirmation barcode at the bottom, you don't have to be a vendor. You don't have to have a shop. All you have to do is open your PayPal account. Okay, so log into your PayPal account, and then up at the top in the address bar where it has all that long information, just overwrite it with www.paypal.com/shipnow. Ship now, SHIPNOW. That will bring you the print shipping label screen, which is you have to physically enter their name and address and zip code and all that. But it will print you that same label that the vendors, that the indie businesses print on the packages for you guys. So you don't have to handwrite and then go to the post office and purchase postage. Delivery confirmation is free now, even on first class packages, if you print the label via the online site. If you go to the post office, it costs you like 85 cents to have the delivery confirmation because you had to pay for the sticker. Just saying. It's worth it to me to do that. And so I did have to enter all of the addresses by hand. However, I still got the nice printed label so that I wasn't trying to send 40 packages to the post office and everyone had to be addressed with the delivery confirmation stickers by hand, because that would have been a pain. So That's my little business tip for you this week. PayPal.com/shipnow. Okay, growth. I added stock to Over the Rainbow when I was there on Thursday. I took out some stuff that had been sitting in their shop for a while and just freshened up the inventory. So I took some of their colorways of Superwash Merino out and put different colorways of Superwash Merino in. They do have regulars, so those people have been looking at the same fibers from me for a long time, so I just did an even swap out. The things that I pulled out of the shop as well on Thursday, and I will be putting in the replacement products to the shop shortly. So people in Rockland might not have wanted them, but you may have a chance to grab something that you've been looking for. I've got some roses in high definition on Superwash Merino. I have a couple of colorways of sock yarn that I haven't had in a while. Good stuff. I told you earlier that my husband and I stopped at the Yarn Barn, which is a yarn shop in Bangor, and the owner, Robin, is going to purchase some fibers from me, or yarns, I should say. She's made an order. As soon as she gets the check to me, I will start working on that. She's actually ordered worsted from me, which is awesome because I don't sell a whole lot of worsted. Both the black ash worsted and the white ash worsted will be in the shop in Bangor. So if you live in the Bangor area, definitely I will tell you once it's in the shop over there, and you can go over and check it out and squish it for yourself. So I was excited about that. And then sign-ups have opened for the Highlands on the Fly knitting retreat in Millinocket, Maine, which will be October 24th through the 27th. Super excited about this. The sign-ups opened August 1st, which was, I don't know, Wednesday, Thursday? I can't remember what day that was. It was 3 days ago. Saturday, Friday, Thursday. We've had 9 or 10 people sign up already. Several people have either asked or are planning to bring their husbands, so it's kind of, some people are going to make it like a couples retreat, even though their husbands don't knit. There's not like there's a whole lot to do in Millinocket, but if you like nature and you like Maine and you want to see Maine at the best time of year, it's a great time to go. It's a great thing to do. So we're excited about that. The Fiber Arts Retreat information is up on the site. So if you go to www.neoc.com, it's the New England Outdoor Center, and you click on the right-hand side of the main screen, it says, or I suppose that's over here if you're looking at this, it says Fiber Arts Retreat. If you click on that, you'll get the PDF, which I have, which talks about what it is, what to expect, when it is, what the cost is. To sign up, you actually don't sign up online. You have to call the NEOC, and the number is on that page. So you just give them a call and say, sign me up. It's a $100 deposit, and the remainder is due by the end of September. I think it's September 24th, so a month before the retreat. I encourage you to check out the site. It shows you what the cabins look like, shows you what some of the scenery looks like, the stuff that you can do on site. You can rent a kayak and take it out. You can have a guided kayak tour. There's fishing. There's all kinds of stuff you can do if you don't want to sit in the room and knit, but we all know that that's what we're going to do. And it's going to be a wicked good time. We're going to have a social on Friday night that's including 2 glasses of wine for a wine tasting, or we'll have some non-alcoholic Maine beverages as well. Maine has some good blueberry sodas and things like that. Super good. Ciders. Oh. We might mull some cider while we're there because it's so friggin' delicious. I have a really good cider recipe. If you are a vendor, if you are an indie business, if you are a yarny, if you are a bag maker, if you are, what else is there? Anything. If you would like to donate something to the retreat, either as a door prize, something for the goodie bags, we're going to have 40 people at the retreat. So if you put something in the goodie bags, just keep in mind I need 40 of them. You can contact me. I am Boutros Babe on Ravelry and Plurk. I am Heather at HighlandHandmades.com if you want to get me by email. Or you can contact Katie. She is JetGirl1313 on Ravelry and Plurk. And I think she's Katie at knittingonthefly.com too, but don't quote me on that. You might have to go over to her site and figure it out. Or you can call the NEOC and talk to Sarah. Sarah is the event coordinator, and she's the one in charge of the event retreat. So if you call or contact the NEOC, the New England Outdoor Center, and ask for Sarah Hunt, she can help you out. So Totally. If you want just to send business cards with coupon codes, if you want to send little samples, anything you want to do, we will gladly take it. We would love to have an amazing goodie bag, and some of you are going to be hitting up anyway because we love you. We just want you to share. We get excited about that. That retreat is the weekend after Rhinebeck. We have some great vendors going to be there. We are having an exclusive vendor market on Saturday, and Chandler Farm is going to be there. One Loop and Fiber Arts is going to be there. I'm going to be there. I'm working on some more people as well. So, wicked excited. Excuse me. And if nothing else, you're in the Highlands of Maine at the end of October. It's perfect sweater wearing weather. Those of you who live in the South, Texas, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, you never get much of a chance to wear your wool socks and sweaters, but you will this time of year up here. Come to our retreat, please. Okay, that just leaves grabby hands this week, and I am moving. Great. I have to break the camera footage here in just a second because I got to go grab the stuff that I got as presents and prizes at SSK and tell you about the stuff that's not pictured because I ate it. Just saying. I'll be right back. Okay. So the first thing I'll tell you is that I did win a prize at the closing ceremonies at SSK, and I'm thrilled to death because it was another Crafty Girl yarn, which is Punky, which I showed you last week, the skein that I bought from her, or traded for her from, which was the cat. This is called the Gauntlet. It is on her strong sock base, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards. And it's dyed in these beautiful natural yellows, browns, greens, creams, silver. It's really beautiful. And it's so squishy. So I won that, and that was awesome. But when I got there to SSK, I walked in the door, and people came to me and gave me presents. And not just any present, but some of the most amazing presents I've ever had. They're so fabulous. I showed you last week the bacon mug that Netta got me. It's a Tervis cup, which is an insulated cup, and inside there's a patch that says bacon. I use that cup all the time. All the time. My friend Tina, I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Probably not. This is a bacon ice cube tray, which you put water in it and it freezes it, and then you have little bacon ice cubes. I need to put the bacon ice cubes in the bacon mug to be fully effective. I'm planning that. I got this from Mary Gale, which is Spartacus Dyes. It's a little notions pouch. What do I have in the notions pouch? Oh, I got a little button from her too. And on the outside it says I heart bacon and this little pig, and on the inside it says oink. And so it's coordinating red and blue. It has a little red zipper. So adorable. I freaking love this. I think I'm going to use this as a change purse in my actual purse. It's got a nice keychain ring on it so I can keep it right in there. I think that's what I'm going to do because it's awesome. So I got that. And then State 55 got me some stitch markers. And she said that she got them right after SSK last year and hung on to them for a whole year to give them to me. I'm going to put these into my notions in my stitch marker container just as soon as I'm done recording this. The first one are little mustaches, all different kinds of mustaches. Aren't they adorable? And then the second one, I'm so astounded at this. The art, it's just amazing. It's bacon with curled edges and like, it's totally bacon. So amazing. I just can't even believe how cool those are. Then my husband got me, there's two here left. Sorry for the crinkling. Some caramels. I've been plugging away at those slowly but surely. He went to Antique Archaeology, which is, if you watch the Discovery Channel, it's two guys who are pickers, and they go all around the country digging up treasures out of people's junk. This is their logo. Now, my husband is the only person who went because Casey, Tangerine Designs, went too, and she got me something that I snarfed immediately. She brought me back 2 bacon and bourbon flavored marshmallows from the candy shop right next to Antique Archaeology. I kid you not, people, bacon and bourbon marshmallows. They were amazing, and they lasted about 12 seconds because they both went in my mouth as fast as they could. So good. So, Casey, thank you so much. It was so sweet of you. Then my friend Sandy brought me some presents. She comes from Sweden a couple times a year and brings us fun Swedish stuff. You get some napkins. There's a princess in a castle and a pirate. How cute are those? She got us some candies. They're called Bilar. It's kind of like a circus peanut and a gummy bear had a baby. It's a really interesting flavor and consistency, but they are quite delicious. She also brought us ballerina cookies, which are these little fudgy cookies that they're sandwich cookies. They're gone. I ate them. My husband and I fight over them because they're so delicious. Also not here, pictured, Craft Tea did give me a Kinder Egg. I love me some Kinder Eggs, and I so appreciate that she went in violation of American law and brought us Kinder Eggs. Because you can get fined quite heavily for those. That's one of the things they look for now. Like, they're super picky about Kinder Eggs. We're all grown-ups. I'm not going to choke on the toy. And then Lion Brand did donate crochet hooks, so everybody at the retreat got a crochet hook, so I got one of those too. Grabbed it off the table. I know. So those are my presents. Are they not fantastic? I feel like there was another present, but I can't remember what it was. I got a lot of presents. I'm totally spoiled rotten, and I absolutely love it. So, only thing left for me to show you guys are the things I got in my goodie bag. And I will show you that next week. So that's the only thing that's left, and then I can finally clean my kitchen table off because everything's been sitting on my kitchen table waiting for me to show you guys so I can put everything away. So that's great. And then you all can stop hearing about SSK. Okay. I think that's everything I have this week. Sign up for the retreat, neoc.com. You do have to call them to sign up, and I don't know if anyone's there on the weekend or not. Best bet is Monday through Friday, about 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time. So 9 to 5 if you're in Central, 10 to 6 if you're Mountain, and 11 to 7. No. Yeah, 11 to 7 if you're West Coast time. If you're internationals, that's entirely too much math. Sorry. Give them a call, sign up. It is just a $100 deposit, and we would love to have you, and it's going to be a flipping amazing time. We're going to have a ton of demos and classes on Friday if you want. You don't have to go to them, but there's going to be some really cool stuff. There might be a special pattern and yarn combo from a special dyer and a special designer whose name rhymes with Uzen Andorf. Just saying. It's going to be a great time, so we hope that you guys come. It's going to be very relaxing. There's a fireplace. It's a fabulous restaurant where we're going to eat and hang out, and there's a full bar for those of you who care. I'm just saying. So I think I'll leave it for you for now. Don't forget to visit the shop. I do have a bunch of stuff in there, and I guess I'll see you guys next week. So until then, happy spinning and knitting, and thanks for tuning in.